I don't think a week can go by without Kei Urana, the creator of Gachiakuta, ending up in the spotlight for something that she says, whether it has something to do with, Western fans, AI, this week, piracy. Something is going to be said by her, and it's just going to get spotlighted by everybody. People love to engagement farm everything that she says. People just watch her like a hawk. And yes, typically I kind of feel like a lot of what people draw from what she says to be a little bit overblown. I think this week with the whole piracy thing, this recent post that she has made, it definitely has piqued my interest, not really so much to change people's minds on what they view piracy as, but more so to kind of see from the vantage point of both Japan and Japanese creators how they feel about it, how it impacts them in general. And I think there was a lot of stuff surrounding the situation, not just from Kei Urana, that I think sort of does put that spotlight on it. So I do want to kind of dive into it. To give people an update on what exactly happened here, we had here recently somebody decided to at Kei Urana and ask them, hey, I'm reading your manga on this Discord. Is that cool? To which she responded, that is illegal. Right? Mind blown. Apparently it's illegal to read things for free from, scanlations, people posting it, whatever. Anyways, that whole thing happened there, and this kind of blew up. A lot of people were joking about the fact that, like, oh my gosh, she just publicly called them out. Oh my gosh, whoa, shock face reacting gifs and whatnot. But additionally, a lot of people like panicking about the Discord itself. Is it going to get shut down? They were even like stopping people from inviting people to the Discord because they were afraid that she's going to walk up in there and shut the place down. Which most of that stuff I kind of rolled my eyes out like, yeah, totally. Kei Urana has all the time in the world to go to your Discord and shut it down. Typically, a lot of things like takedowns and whatnot, she can go through the process of doing, but a lot of that stuff is handled by the publisher. Kei herself, she's not doing that stuff. she's got stuff to do, but it didn't stop her from trolling. It didn't stop her from trolling, posting GIFs, with the grinning faces. You got even the creepy freaking orange thing here that I absolutely hate. Saying, hey, since yesterday, all I've done is post a GIF and nothing else. What are you all so afraid of? Got something to feel guilty about. So there's a lot of kind of memeing happening, a lot of people panicking and freaking out like, holy crap, she's totally calling out the pirates and all this kind of stuff. A lot of arguments back and forth around piracy in general. Now, where things honestly did get sort of heated was a lot of the comments, even from the original post here, a lot of comments from people getting very nasty about sort of her viewpoints around piracy. People claiming Gachiakuta is about class difference. Why would you be against piracy when you have a manga that is about class difference? You have the people that are, living clean and everything, and everybody that's living in the trash. There's a massive difference in, social standings in the manga that you have, so why are you against piracy? That kind of stuff. And I think a lot of the heated discussion really came around the graffiti artist, which is Hideyoshi Ando, for Gachiakuta. They got very heated on social media, saying basically, shut up. If you don't like it, just save up your money and buy it, right? It's simple. Don't complicate things. I used to live in a house with leaks and rotting floor. Even so, I skipped meals to buy art supplies, and my priorities never wavered. So I'm still doing it right now. If you can't do it, get out of that environment where you can't. I realized I had to escape from my parents in every situation I thought I couldn't handle, so I got out. I'm assuming this has to do with this whole situation because it's posted at the same exact time this is all going down. So I'm going to make this assumption here that he's talking about this. And a lot of his posts are about basically the idea of, if you can't afford it, then you just don't buy it kind of thing. You have to scrounge things together in order to buy things. And I think this sort of did paint a bigger picture as to, again, how these artists view their works. There is a stark difference in how piracy is viewed in Japan and in the West. That's the obvious thing here. And I think somebody that Hideyoshi did end up retweeting kind of put it best when they talked about sort of the difference in what individuals see in Japan and in the West about piracy. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, yes, a lot of these manga artists and creators in Japan, they don't have like the support that you would typically get in the West for like maybe a comic book publisher or something like that. These are individuals that have to scrape together, work at convenience stores on a nightly basis, trying to make their own comics and trying to get it out there. And if by some great graces it gets published and it gets big, then they'll get like $1 per volume. This isn't like some sort of fairy tale. They're not constantly getting paid big bucks. We often see like the big, mangakas and whatnot that are making a lot of money, like say some of the biggest shonen manga creators out there. But you don't really see like everybody else that's scrounged together trying to get that point where they're going to make it. So it does sort of create this mindset around Japan where you support each other. You don't just steal from people. If you want something, you support the creator by paying into it. But obviously, again, the reason why this is really kind of blowing up for a lot of individuals is that, including what Hideyoshi is saying here, and with Urana kind of calling it out, is sort of throwing mud in the face of people that either can't afford it or it's just not even available. I think that's the big thing for a lot of individuals is I can't even have it, so I have to pirate it. It's not even available in my region. I have to pirate it. Like, there's no other way for me to be able to read it. And yeah, you'd have a lot of people that would argue the reason why manga in general got popular in the West is because it started off with people pirating it. And that's why we have the ecosystem that we have where we have publishers now. It's a constant conflict here. And I think at its core, I think the important thing to sort of get from this video and what I'm kind of spotlighting here is just to get a different perspective. Again, I'm not here to change people's minds. I'm not here to say don't pirate things. I'm not your dad. You do whatever the hell you want. I've pirated a lot of stuff, and I bought a lot of stuff. My perspective isn't going to change your mind. You have your own situation. You might not be able to afford it. You might be able to afford it. You just don't want to. I don't care. If you wanted to come to me at anything, hey, Andrew, what bugs you around piracy? It's that I hate when people try to justify it by lying. If you don't want to buy it, just don't buy it. You don't have to tell me some sort of reason why you don't want to buy it. That aside, we finally get to sort of the response that Urana has after all of this stuff sort of kind of blew up and people started really calling them out and saying that, your manga is about classism and all this kind of stuff, and yet you have no sympathy whatsoever. Their response is, I've spent the last few days researching the circumstances in different countries, including financial situations. I understand that for many people, pirate sites are the only way they can read manga. I also understand that prices can be higher overseas. This is 100% true, and this is the unfortunate reality that a lot of countries, the value of the dollar, whatever, is a lot less. How much people get paid for their paycheck is much less. The availability of certain things is something that only very rich people can have. Most of the population can't even have access to it because it's just they don't get paid enough. That kind of stuff. Yes, the pricing of the manga is a huge thing. That is a massive thing. In Japan, and this is sort of the thing that, Urana and them would have to sort of have pointed out to them before they realize it. In Japan, yes, you can buy an entire volume of a manga for like $4. I know that's crazy for a lot of people over here. $4. That's crazy. Over here, $10 to $15. It's a massive difference in cost there. Now, yes, in a lot of cases, it's because the print quality is much different too, because essentially over in the West, they had to upgrade the paper quality and whatnot just to make it appealing to Western buyers. They don't want newspaper thin sheets of paper. They want thick paper, thick stock. That is one of the reasons, but it's really not really a justification there because even digital print over here is $10 plus. So you can't even make that argument anymore. The difference is huge. I've even seen some people say, don't bring this issue up. I think this is bullshit. If she wants to talk about this, she could talk about this. Again, this is her manga. This is something that she created. She can bring this up however she wants. But if we don't speak up now, the value of Japanese manga and creative works built through the sacrifice and relentless efforts of those who came before us will be wasted. I've also seen people say reading for free doesn't hurt sales. That's not true. Free lowers the value of things. Once people grow used to getting something for free, they stop looking towards legitimate versions. This is true, I think, obviously, because, if somebody can get something for free, they're going to get it for free. And I think when people get used to the idea of having things for free for a long period of time, eventually the idea of even paying for it's dumb. A good example, an easy example, is something like Crunchyroll. It was free for the longest time, and when it switched over to being paid, how many people wanted to care to go pay for it when they could just go to another site and get it for free? People get used to the idea of constantly getting things for free, so why would they ever even pay for it? I think that in general is sort of the mindset that a lot of people, even though they don't want to admit it, have around piracy. Why would I even pay for it? And again, some people justify their reasoning by saying they don't like the company or they don't like this or that this. In the end of the day, they're used to not having to pay. Why would you pay? It's just another expense every single month. Why would you pay? It is literally one of those things where it's like, it's a no-brainer. Like, legitimately, put aside your moralities and stuff like that. Who the F cares? Why would you even pay when you can literally go to this other site and get it for free? It's so easy. It's a click away. Nothing's going to come after you. It's not like they're going to shut down your ISP, yada, yada, yada. I also understand that people who truly love a work will support it properly. We pour ourselves into creating so readers can enjoy our work. Compensation matters, of course, but more than anything, I do not want to see our value diminished. And again, that's that's their right to feel that way. Again, this is something they created. They put their work into it. They sit there and they draw, hour on hour on hour, and then it gets put out there, and then somebody literally is just posting on social media, hey, I'm reading it for free over here. How disrespectful is that? Like, you, again, literally spend your entire life, day after day, hour after hour, drawing this stuff just to have somebody say, lol, I read it on Discord. Thanks. These are, again, people that are talking about how I literally had to go without eating to get art supplies. I had to spend large chunks of my life practicing my art just to have somebody get it for free because they don't want to go without eating to buy it. Again, it's a different perspective. Again, in the end, this is all a different perspective. To help people who can't afford it or who don't have access to it enjoy these works, Ando and I have been discussing for a long time and exploring many ideas. I cannot share the details yet, but we are working on it. I'm not sure what she'd be able to find out here. Again, this is something that is licensed in overseas locations. Now, they could be looking into helping find publishers in regions where it's not available. But for the most part, it's like, what are you going to do for affordability? Because again, if it's in the United States, there is a publisher here, somebody that has licensed it, and they have the right to charge whatever they want to charge. They can't dictate that kind of stuff. Now, they can, for future, dictate a lot of this stuff, or at least put clauses that they can allow them to distribute it themselves or something like that, which they're not going to really find too favorable when they go to write that contract up. I'm not sure exactly what they would do for affordability. But at least for access, yes, they could possibly try to find people to publish it in locations that are not available, which is cool. That they're going through these efforts to try to do this kind of stuff. Again, for all the people that were replying to her post saying, how dare you, we don't even have access to it, it could be hopefully looking to get access to people. Publishers are making efforts as well. I'm sorry it is taking time, but please stop hurling accusations like you are racist or saying misguided things like piracy is free promotion for you. This is BS right here. I am sorry. This is absolutely BS. I didn't really see any of that. I'm sure it's probably stuff that was either blocked or deleted or whatever, or it's in a reply somewhere else, but that's BS. And it could be a lot in the stuff where Hideyoshi was talking, because again, Hideyoshi was getting much more heated in their responses to this stuff. I can see it being in, again, some countries where literally, again, the value of the dollar is so different and your actual wages and whatnot are completely different. I could see that possibly, but that's just horrible. Piracy is free promotion for you. Yes and no. This is sort of a very complicated thing, but yes, I do see the value in piracy and the idea that when people are reading your stuff, the hype is getting up there, people are enjoying it, the word gets spreading, and people will see that conversation and they'll want to check it out, and thus they will run into, again, a legitimate source and thus pay into it. But unfortunately, there's also the opposite effect there where you're also multiplying in a lot of cases how many people are pirating it, because who do they ask, hey, what is this that you're reading? The people that are pirating it. And when they ask, where is it at? They show them a piracy site. And it just gets more people to pirate it. It's a multiplying effect in that direction. The hope there is that when somebody sees the discussion, they'll search for it, and by some chance, it'll go to a legal site. But it's a massive gray area. We will continue doing everything we can so everyone can enjoy manga. And I ask one thing in return. Please try to understand our perspective and our culture as well. Yeah, like I said before, a lot of it has to do with, again, that perspective of their mindset of supporting each other. And again, from the perspective of a creator, a mangaka, who, again, in a lot of cases are going to be spending their entire life, forming their craft, again, going without meals, again, working at convenience stores at night, having very little rest, trying to draw every single night, trying to get all those panels out to get published or whatever, hoping that one day you make it big, then you can start finally making a buck for a volume. A lot of these artists and animators and whatnot are struggling to make ends meet. And so to say, I don't have money for your manga, it's a clashing perspective, right? You can at least see there's a clashing perspective here. Anyways, like I said before, a very interesting perspective from Kei Urana and Hideyoshi on their viewpoints of piracy and, again, the struggles that these individuals have, and seemingly trying to at least look for ways of helping people and assisting them in getting access to this stuff. So we'll see where that goes from there. But anyways, that is your weekly Kei Urana drama on social media. I hope you guys found this video informative. Hope you found it entertaining. If you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.